Hello everyone, Eloi here with Apollo. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A. We asked you on Facebook if you had any questions regarding our lineup and the future of Apollo, and we got plenty of questions. Today I'm joined by Alfie that's going to be selecting the questions for us. The first question is from Harleigh, one of our co-writer of the city with awesome customization on her city. She's asking, I need to know what's next for the city line. There is a gap between the Go, Explore and the Phantom. We need a new middle ground scooter that's bigger, more powerful commuter. So that's a great question. As people saw with the Phantom, it became the Phantom 2.0, right? And same thing with the Explorer. So it makes sense that there's a new city that would be coming that would be the 2.0, and the rest of the lineup, the same thing. I don't know about more power. If there's one thing people don't complain with the city, it's the range or the power. So I don't know yet what the final specs are going to be, but yes, we're working on the second generation of the city. The next question is from Jamar. What was the reasoning for dropping the Pro since it's only 2 years old after release? It had features that was unique to the rest of the lineup. That's true. The Pro had RGB lights, had IoT, had the quad lock wireless charging, the Bluetooth speaker. So a lot of unique feature that we don't see anywhere else, even on the Phantom 2.0, which is part of the reason why we no longer make it. You know, we often said that the Pro was really a statement, right? Like no scooters should be manufactured like that because it doesn't make any sense. Like the mega casting that we were doing for the frame, to the way like how everything was routed. We learned a lot with the Pro, and that's what allowed us to reach just a new generation in our hardware. You know, there is an Apollo before the Apollo Pro, and there's an Apollo after the Apollo Pro. And the ecosystem that this created, allowed us to have a beautiful lineup today. It's not to say that the Pro's never gonna come back. You know, we have a history of bringing back models like we did for, well, the Phantom, right? And now, more recently, the Explorer. But for now, just because of the complexity of the manufacturing and that it doesn't make sense margin-wise, that's why we had to stop making the Pro. From John Breed, will you guys add a built-in tracker in your scooter anytime soon? I think you should. So as I mentioned, we had IoT with the Apollo Pro, and it's something that we removed later on. It worked pretty well. There's still about 250 people that are subscribed to that service monthly and still using it. The reason why we stopped doing it and including it firstly with the Pro and then just discontinuing it completely, it was because of the cost that it was adding to our BOM. That's how we calculate things, and that's how everybody in the industry calculates your bill of material. So the entirety of the scooter, all the parts that make it up, each line has a multiple factor in the end price, right? So if you say that the IoT is going to cost you $100, well, the final price needs to be adjusted by a multiple of that cost. And basically, the number one complaint with the Apollo Pro was the price. Even if it was beautifully manufactured, even if there was the IoT, the RGB, people still thought that it was too expensive. And they were right. As I mentioned, it was because how we were building it. The IoT is the same challenge. While we can remove it from the scooter and just let you purchase it after, there need to be another suite of integration in the scooter that's gonna raise the cost of the scooter, like the controller. And with the introduction of Apple Find My, for us, it was answering the same need, which is to be able to track your scooter at all time. And now basically 50% of the population has an iPhone. So your scooter should always be within range of an Apple device and be able to locate it remotely. So the two obvious questions with this is, the first one, it's not all our scooters that has Apple Find My. Currently, it's only the Phantom 2.0. And secondly, what about Android? For the first question, it's true that it's not all scooter that has Apple Find My for the same reason that I mentioned before. It's more expensive to put Apple Find My in your scooter, at least right now. So we're coming up with an accessory made for the scooter, which is going to be a little chip that you can mount inside. So like this, I don't need to charge it to you if you don't want it. But if you want it, you can install it inside. So then all our scooters will be Apple Find My compatible. And secondly, for Android, it was released this year. They're more open API connection, ecosystem integration. So we did find one supplier that could supply this chipset to us, and we're currently looking into it. From Artem, Another question about the Pro. I see that there's a lot of questions about the Pro. People loved it. We need an upgrade kit, a Mach 3 controller for the Apollo Pro. As I mentioned before, the challenge is not to make a Mach 3 controller for the Apollo Pro. The challenge is to make the rest of the ecosystem that's going to be plug and play with your current Apollo Pro. What do I mean? You need a battery that's able to push enough amp to supply the Mach 3 controller. You need the motors, which are special to sustain such a big load on them. And you need, ideally, hydraulic disc brake to be able to brake at such high speed. All of these things combined are the most expensive things on the scooter by far. They constitute 70% of the price point. So this is why we didn't waste any time to do such a conversion kit. We think that people would just invest in a Phantom 2.0 Stellar Edition. We did do an Apollo Pro Stellar Edition. Before the Phantom 2.0 Stellar Edition, we're considering just doing a Pro Edition, but we were basically able to increase spec per dollar by doing it on the Phantom 2.0 frame versus the Pro. If you want to see what it looks like this. Beautiful Pro, pushed a lot. We have Alex at the office that still rides it every day. 2 of them were made ever. One still at the factory in the showroom, and the other one is here in Montreal. Maybe one day we'll release an iteration of it, but for now, this is the main reason why there is no Mach 3 controller for the Apollo Pro. As I mentioned before though, I do understand people that want to make their ride a bit more special, you know, and different from the rest of the people. So if you really want a special controller, I would strongly recommend looking into VESC controller, which are configurable DIY controllers, which is where we started our Mac ecosystem. Those ones can be purchased online, and if you are a little bit of the personality of DIY, doing your own stuff, you're gonna be able to configure it however you want, and it's gonna be better than any other scooters you can buy on the market. The next question is from Nicolas Fong. Will there be an upgrade on the Apollo Go? I tried the Go from my coworker and I love it. Nice, perfect size compared to my 2021 Apollo City. So the answer is yes. The Go, just like the Explorer and the Phantom, will have a 2.0 generation, but this is not coming this year. It's gonna be something for later next year. And it's gonna be more powerful. It's gonna have new upgrades that's gonna be available right off the bat. And it's gonna have little things that are updated aesthetically. Stay tuned for more announcement on this model. The next question is one that I love from Leighton Thomas. Need more spare parts for your scooter available, or at least have dimensions for them so we are able to 3D print our own, as I'm worried if I break my fender, I won't be able to replace it as it's never on your website. So that's a great question, and I think there's multiple aspects to it. The first one is the spare part situation of Apollo scooters. Our spare part situation is excellent. You know, I'm not only doing the scooters, I'm the one doing the whole supply chain with the team, you know? So every week we look at all the back orders, so meaning all the open orders that are waiting to be fulfilled that are not because we're out of stock, and we look at the forecasting. What do we need to order in advance so we're gonna have it 6 months from now? Our spare part situation currently is awesome. It's better than it's ever been, and we are close to 30,000 spare parts in stock. 30,000. 30,000. Why does it seem like we never have some down spare parts on the website? The main issue currently is navigation. On the website right now, we segment the spare parts by just the spare parts section, but furthermore by model, and it's an expansion of all the models. So if you go on the left side, you're gonna have Air 2021, Air 2021, 2021 Pro, Air 2021 regular, then 2022 the same thing, 2023, 2024, and it's the same thing for the Apollo City. We release countless iteration of it, and guess what? They all share the same tire. But if I click on the Apollo City 2023, I'm not gonna see any tires, I'm gonna see maybe 2 spare parts. The reality is that I have 55 spare parts for it. And this is due to 2 things. It's very complicated to always keep up to date for every model and every iteration, the count of spare parts that need to be merged for all those models. And secondly, it's the whole UI, UX experience of it, you know? The reality is that we do have a lot of models, and they do have some parts that are different, and it's very hard for all of us at Apollo to remember that, you know? So what are we gonna do to improve that? We're working right now on a UI and UX, a user experience that's a view that's gonna allow you to click on the scooter to select your spare parts this way. So instead of selecting from just a list, you know, and from a website that sometimes have the picture, sometimes doesn't, it's gonna be ideally, an interactive 3D model that you click on it, it's going to open the assembly, and then you can select your spare part from the assembly or the assembly as a whole, add it to your cart, check out. It makes the whole experience a lot better. The thing I can promise you is that we are in stock in pretty much every spare part, and if it's not on the website, which is probably is not, just ask customer service, and I guarantee you we have the spare part. And the second question about 3D parts. As some of you might know, before doing Apollo, I was doing electric skateboard. An electric skateboard was a very niche DIY thing that was born from the community. It's a community of people that had too much money and too much time to lose that wanted electric skateboard that started it. So the whole aspect of community and sharing parts via 3D file, I'm very familiar with, and I love it. And also, this is how I started. I was 3D printing parts for the skateboards, making them and reselling them. So what are we doing right now? We're doing something that looks like this. This is the V1, and we uploaded, for now, the fender of every model that we have, so you can 3D print them at home. Those files are going to be available in a platform that's currently the Apollo account. So when you log in into the Apollo account on the website, now you're going to see your list of scooters, you're going to see your warranty, you're going to see your order, you're going to see your customer service ticket, and you're going to see 3D printable parts. You can modify it, 3D print it, install it, resell it, do whatever you want, but the resources are going to be available for you, the community, to do so. Right now, as you can see, it's pretty much complete. We're aiming to launch it for early 2026. From Joshua Lopez, I would like a way to mount cargo, grocery bag, backpack, small box on the scooter. For carrying stuff, there's two approaches. There's the approach of the Segway ZT3, I believe, which looks like this. You can mount a rear rack at the back of the scooter, which I don't believe is the best way because you have the suspension there and everything's gonna rattle. And the other way that I'm aware is on the stem of the scooter, which you can fix like we did in our accessory review video. It's a little basket that unfolds, clip on the stem, and you can even take it off super easily by leaving the bracket always on the stem. I like this one. I think fundamentally, scooters are not made to carry stuff like this. It's probably better to have a backpack for it or even use a bicycle because yes, while scooters are small, nimble, and portable, they're not the best to do grocery shopping or carrying packages, in my opinion. A question from Housni. Which model are you the most excited about? And for me, it would be the Explore 2.0 right now, which is right there next to me. Looks beautiful, and currently we are in the beta testing phase. And the results are awesome. So far, the score is one of the highest of all the beta we did. And I'm riding this one in there every day, and it just feels, stiff, sturdy. It feels like a confident ride, and it just looks stunning. It's great to be able to have this lighting system on such an affordable scooter. It still has a wow factor, but under $1,000. And we always get this question, what is different between the Explore 2.0 and the Apollo Go? Well, you can go check out the video we released 2 weeks ago. That's right here. Last question from Dave Black. Did you ever manufacture that windshield roof attachment we saw in a render years ago? And this was the idea of maybe a bit to the question of Joshua about making it easier to carry stuff. And I do think it can be easy to carry stuff if you have a seat. If you have a seat and you mount it behind the seat, you definitely can because we did it here before and people are still riding it. So to answer your question, Dave, no, we are no plan of making it right now. I think we need to find a way to manufacture it very cheaply. From all my trip to China, this accessory is extremely common in moped. People usually take like some kind of umbrella, shape a bit differently, and put it over. So maybe it's gonna end up being a mix of a seat and this if we were to release it. But there's so many challenges from shipping costs because of the size of the box. We'd need to optimize it like IKEA furniture basically to be able to be super compact. To the way that it's manufactured, to the windshield, how it would look. Is it just transparent? Is there a wiper to wipe it off? How does it mount on the scooter? So I would love to at least make one, but for now it's not even in the plan, no. That's all for today. Thank you for everybody who submitted questions. If you have any question that you would like to submit, please join the Facebook community where there's 23,000 members. It's a giant community where you can find help and updates about our scooters. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. So Alfie, what features would you like to see on our new scooters?
I like all those questions and all, but you promised me a snack, and I don't see nothing, man. I don't see shit.